When I played Halo Infinite for the first time in 2021, I remember feeling whelmed. Maybe it was the years of hype, maybe I expected too much, but when I walked away, all I could think was, that was it? And in the years that followed, the game didn't do much to change that feeling. But in the midst of It's So Over, I found within me an invincible. We're so back. I'm just kidding. I was pretty disappointed. A multiplayer that failed to deliver, a campaign that existed solely to course correct from whatever this was, and a live service that wasn't so alive.
You serious?
And yet, I couldn't help but kind of like it. There was beauty in the failure.
We all fail.
He said it! He said it!
The effort was there.
Look at this place.
But sadly, there just wasn't enough to keep me around. Flash forward 4 years. Holy shit, it's been 4 years. And the Halo Campaign Evolved trailer reawoke the Halo fan within me. For the first time since 2021, I decided to play Infinite's campaign. And no bullshit, I kinda love this game.
Solid ground.
It is not a perfect game by any means,
Marines will live to fight another day. I hope we
but it's also visually stunning, really fun to play, and they planted the seeds for something great with the story. And it's pretty funny. For this video, I want to focus solely on the campaign. Truth be told, I've always been more of a campaign guy when it comes to Halo. Plus, this video would take way too long if I tried to cover multiplayer. But I hear it has gotten better. I'm also going to try and not compare it to the other games, because that's been done to death. And I just want to look at this game on its own. So with all that out of the way, let's get into why Halo Infinite is so awesome and mediocre. I'm just kidding. With all that out of the way, let's get into why Halo Infinite is a beautiful failure.
Would you humor me? If you knew how you were going to die, how would you live your life differently?
You have one bullet against an entire army. What can you do on your own?
Humans, call me their savior. Covenant.
Is everyone trying to kill you? We all fail. We all make mistakes. What makes us human?
Bear witness. Our story will become legend.
I thought that I could do this on my own, but I forgot that the whole point of all of this, the entire reason that I chose you in the first place was that we were supposed to be a team. Perfectly suited, perfectly matched, perfectly perfect.
When it comes to the gameplay, it's important to remember that Halo Infinite was supposed to be the next 10 years of Halo.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
If you know anything about the development hell this game went through, you know that didn't exactly work out. But keeping that in mind, they had to design gameplay that could last a decade. So did they?
Now we make him die.
The core gameplay is one of the few parts of this game that's almost universally praised. And for good reason. It's fun.
But I couldn't stay.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
I'm one of those players who think Halo is better without sprint, but to the game's credit, it's handled really well here. I never felt like I had to use it, so most of the time, I didn't. The gunplay is exactly what you'd expect from Halo, satisfying and full of variety. There are some great new additions in this game. I especially like the Carbine and the Ravager. But that's not to say there aren't some stinkers. The Bulldog is a pile of shit. It's ridiculously weak for a Halo shotgun. And the shock weapons? Yeah, they're awful as well. Where this game really shines, though, is with the equipment. Excluding the drop wall and threat sensor, because seriously, what's the point? Aside from the 2 boss fights where using the threat sensor is almost mandatory, you will never use these. The thruster and grapple add so much depth to this game, especially when you use them together. And stop me if you've heard this before, but it really makes you feel like a Spartan. With that being said, I think the grapple low-key ruins this game. I know that is borderline blasphemous to say. Most people loved the grapple, but it wasn't until my second playthrough that I realized something. It has the same problem as Sprint, but a million times worse. It breaks the pacing. And yeah, I know that leans into the "you control the buttons you press" argument, but I hate that argument, because let's be honest, the average player isn't going to stop and admire the world when they can zip right past everything with the click of a button. Even worse, it completely trivializes vehicle combat, which was already not great to begin with. Not the Ghost, though. I love the Ghost. I don't hate the grapple. The game would be a lot less fun without it. The open world would lose almost all of its verticality, but it should have been more balanced. I found myself enjoying the open world so much more when I was using vehicles and exploring on foot. But that begs the question, when you've got vehicles that aren't that fun to use, and a grapple that makes exploration feel meaningless, where does that even leave the open world? Going back to that 10-year plan, by now we all know Halo Infinite was supposed to have campaign expansions.
That's over now! They stole it from me, Carmine! They took it!
Each one was going to feature new biomes. And if you don't believe me, just look at how the game ends. Right in the middle of a sandy area that clearly would have been the first expansion. But like I said, development hell. So they scrapped all that and downsized to a single biome. And that's probably the biggest complaint this game gets: lack of visual variety. That's not to say they scrapped everything though. A lot of the content that was meant for the other biomes got crammed into this one. And what we ended up with is actually a pretty solid open world experience. This world feels alive, mostly thanks to the Marines
Howdy, Chief.
and grunts.
Rations you miraculously discovered last week were given some extra special seasonings by my good pal Jiplick. Hope they were tasty.
I'm pretty sure that was a poop joke. Everywhere you go, there's a new mission, a firefight, or a random encounter. It's not empty. One of my favorite moments this playthrough was hunting down a Spartan core, realizing it was buried inside of a mountain, and having to fight my way through to reach it. Speaking of Spartan cores, I actually love the progression system here, even if it's a pretty shallow one. The fobs are another great idea. Being able to spawn vehicles and weapons on command feels convenient, but it's also too convenient. When you can call in a Scorpion whenever you want, it stops feeling special.
What the hell are you planning that requires us? You know what, just never mind. Stand by.
And honestly, there aren't many missions that justify using those big vehicles anyway. And that brings me to the biggest issue with the open world. It's fun, but it doesn't matter. When you play long enough, you start to realize that none of this really connects to the main story. Saving Marines is cool, but where are they in the cutscenes? The side missions are fun, but what role do they actually play in the story? It's a blast when you turn your brain off, but the moment you think about it, it just feels disconnected, like two different games stitched together. Speaking of the story, what's that like?
We lost everything. There's nothing left for us here.
Halo Infinite is a very character-driven story. No, seriously. There are like 4 characters in this game. There's obviously a lot happening in the background, but the focus here is entirely on the people we actually see. Fernando Esparza,
Breathe.
otherwise known as Brohammer, otherwise known as the guy from the Discover Hope trailer, otherwise known as Octane from Apex Legends. His role is basically to be the opposite of Master Chief. If Chief is humanity at its best, then Fernando is humanity at its most real. And I don't think anything shows that better than the cutscene at the end of Pelican Down.
I'm not you! I'm not a pilot! I'm not even a soldier, a Marine! I'm a fraud. I stole that pelican. I stole it. Do you know why? Of course you don't. Have you ever been scared? So scared that you... I'm worthless. You should leave me here with the rest rest of the carpets.
We all fail. We all make mistakes. It's what makes us human.
It's such a good moment that really gives us a look inside Chief's head. And I'll be honest, the whole let's humanize the badass character thing is so played out at this point. The whole point of a character like Master Chief is that he is not us. He's something to aspire to. But that being said, it's actually done really well here.
We can't escape.
You work on the batteries. I'll buy us some time.
Chief feels off in this game.
Cortana.
He's gone.
Like he's tired and almost ready to die. Not in the dramatic,
I'm the fucking Master Chief and I'm gonna give the Covenant back their bomb
way. More like he's just going through the motions. But his interactions with Fernando and the weapon slowly start to bring him back. And by the end, they've basically become a team. But of course, what's a good story without a good villain?
It occurs to me that we have not been introduced.
It's Halo Infinite. Eshram doesn't do anything in this game. He's not even a bad character. He's just not interesting. If Atriox is the Thanos of the Halo universe, this big, threatening villain that's meant to be built up over time, then Eshram is like Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's just a filler character. He sits back the whole game, and then you fight him in a boss fight that's pretty underwhelming. In mine, he actually killed himself. Then Chief says this line.
But at the end, he was just a soldier. Hoping he'd done the right thing.
And the first time I heard it, I remember thinking, what? Eshram hadn't done anything in this game to justify Chief saying that to him. But on my second playthrough, I started to see it differently. I don't think that that line is really about Eshram. I think it's about John. Master Chief never showed any hatred towards his enemies. He's not driven by rage or revenge. He really is just a soldier hoping he's doing the right thing. So when he says that line, it's not about respect.
I don't understand. You showed him respect. He was a monster.
It's about empathy. You'll notice I skipped over the weapon, and that's because her role in this story ties more into that background stuff I was talking about. Remember how I said this game exists solely to course correct from Halo 5? Well, that's true. And it does a really good job of doing that. The whole campaign slowly unravels a mystery about what happened in the 6 months between the opening cinematic and the start of the game. What happened to Cortana, where Atriox went, and why everything fell apart. It isn't until the end that we see a series of flashbacks between the two, revealing that the weapon is actually a copy of Cortana.
The consequences of your...
Back to your conservatory, monitor.
And showing just how fucking cool Atriox is. This dude really watched his whole planet get turned to smithereens and he was still talking shit. And when Cortana realizes what the weapon is, she understands that the weapon is her second chance, a version of herself that hasn't made the same mistakes. So she destroys herself and everything she built, hoping that this new version can be better.
In these final moments, I know what my last mission is. I need to make sure you two learn from my mistakes.
At least that's what I gathered. It was pretty confusing. Halo Infinite's story succeeds at picking up the pieces from Halo 5 and laying the groundwork for a new beginning, but that's really all it ends up being, a sort of reset for the series. And the most frustrating part is that we might never see what it was building toward. Halo Infinite is a game that shot for the moon and hit a star. It's so clear this game was meant to be something massive, and honestly, I can't help but think it would have been better received if it had just been marketed as the game it actually ended up being, because it's not a bad game at all. Knowing what happened behind the scenes, I still think the game we got is pretty amazing in spite of everything. That's not to give 343 a free pass. They failed to deliver on what they promised, even if it wasn't entirely their fault. This video isn't about tearing Halo Infinite down, it's more of a love letter, because for all its flaws, I really do love this game, and it feels kind of poetic that as I'm making this video, they've just announced its final update. This video took me a long time to make, and I don't usually make stuff like this, so if you enjoyed it, consider leaving a like, or maybe even subscribing, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and that is why Halo Infinite is a beautiful failure.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing?